I'm Emer and I am co-founder and director at Lockdown Models and PR Agency, and co-founder and director also at corkfashionweek.com, Mercedes-Benz MSL Fashion Week. This is the Grown Up series, and I just want to take you on a little trip with me to meet some really interesting people, some who fell off their life or career path but still found their kind of niche or whatever it is that they really love doing, and some who followed unconventional paths as well. So let's go today and meet. Actually, we're here at the gorgeous Glucksman Gallery in UCC. It's one of my favourite places in the city, and we're going to meet Lindsay Woods, aka Manolo Mommy, on Instagram. If you like Instagram, you've got to follow her. She is so entertaining and I just really love her story. So we're going to head into the Glucksman and go for cake. I'm due baby in a couple of days, so cake and tea it is for us. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to my apartment.
How are you? It's just casual, you know, just casual. Yeah, absolutely, like myself, you know.
So, Lindsay, I'm so delighted you could meet us here today. I'm dying to have a chat with you. We spoke at Cork Fashion Week.
Yep.
You were on stage with the other influencers, the Irish influencers. Yes. You told us about your life and career path, and just about Instagram and how it's changed things for you. So I can't wait to get into that downstairs over tea and cake. Yum yum, baby needs it. But first of all, I just want to ask you, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Oh God, believe it or not, I was only talking to my mum the other night about this, and she said that I really wanted to be a poet. Like, great career trajectory there, you know. So apparently I was always scribbling and writing things, and I was always that kid who had, you know, those really naff diaries, padded ones with kittens on the front, and like a gold lock, yeah, with like 2 keys. You could pick with a hairpin, but you know, you had the keys. So I was always kind of doing bits like that, and then I loved art as well and anything creative. And the funny thing was, I turned out to be quite academic in school, so it was kind of put to the side, I suppose.
Okay.
And
is that something that's honed into in school, I suppose?
Not really. And now I had a really good experience in school, but I think if you are a creative like yourself, I think you're either geared towards the creative side of things or the academic side of things.
And in school, like, you know, you're either academic or creative, yes, I guess.
Yes. And I suppose I went to a lovely school and I had a great experience in school, but I suppose my group of friends at the time as well were quite academic, and I think I kind of just, you know, you kind of pal along with your friends, and we were very geared towards kind of exam results. Yeah, you know, it was kind of the thing, you know, you got a good leaving cert and you went to college, and so in a way I think I'm nearly having my midlife crisis now. So I did everything by the book, and now I've done a complete U-turn. So
I'm so excited to go into the UE. Let's go have cake.
Perfect.
Sounds okay.
Here am I, like, straight in for cake.
Oh my God, how yum are these?
So good.
Baby needs it.
So good, and they've just put like acres of jam on it, which is even better.
I love how we were like, oh, let's have a little chat for my YouTube series. But actually it's an excuse to go and have cake.
Absolutely.
Away from the children.
I mean, I know we were toying with the idea of like kale smoothies and celery, you know, but I don't even want to cut the mustard.
Lettuce and water.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was your first ever job?
My first ever job, I was 11. Like, I know, yeah, rural Ireland, like, they put you out to work.
Did you get paid?
So I did get paid, and what I earned in the day I spent in the corner shop on the way home. We had to cycle a round trip, I think it was 11 miles, myself and my neighbour, and we went out to a farm in Shanagarry where we picked potatoes and strawberries, and I don't know if you've ever had to pick a punnet. We were paid by the punnet basically.
Okay.
So like a punnet could take you nearly 15 to 20 minutes. It was crazy, and like the raspberries were even worse. So we do that. So I think tiny. I think we used to come out with like about, at the time it was pounds, so it was like £2.50 a day.
That's major money when you're 11.
Major money when you're 11.
You are just like.
So yeah, like it was like, you know, set on the path early. So I kind of then, the next summer after that then, I graduated to like more regular work, and I was babysitting out in Ballymaloe. I was like their in-house babysitter.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So was that for guests who would come to Ballymaloe?
Guests who would come to Ballymaloe, and I had a couple of languages, so like it was good for the guests coming, and you know that you could talk to their kids, everything. But it was great. It was like the best job ever.
So you had a very kind of outdoorsy childhood, so really.
Absolutely, like where we are now, it's not so remote, I suppose, but like there was just myself and 2 other houses, so we were all kids the same age, so we would literally be sent out in the summer and you would be given a bag with provisions and told not to come back until dinner, and that would be at 9 in the morning.
So you only saw your parents when you needed money or food?
Exactly. And my parents were like, they can't go anywhere because the nearest town would have been Middleton, and that was like, you warranted a taxi or, you know, a lift or something.
And that was the big smoke.
That was the big smoke, yeah. It was like the distance tempting us, you know.
So when you went to college then, you studied here at UCC. What
Yeah,
did you study?
I did. I started in Italian and economics, in a joint major, but I shot myself in the foot because I didn't realise coming in that when you do a joint major, they encourage you to take what's called like a bird course.
Okay.
So something that wouldn't have as heavy a workload.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the other 2 subjects I took in first year were essay driven. So I took sociology and archaeology.
Oh, wow.
And it's just all writing, and it was just constant.
Little did you know then that it would lead to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I suppose in a small way. I suppose when I started here, like I got a good leaving cert, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think
don't at 17 anyway.
No, at all. And like I think like a lot of my friends, they went into engineering or business or medicine, or so it was designated fields where I was just kind of
exploring.
Yeah, and I knew it was, you know, I had to go to college in a way. It was
But you didn't
expected.
actually have one thing that you were destined to become.
Absolutely not. And so I started here and I did 2 years. In my first year, I did my J1 and I went to the States.
Oh, fun.
And then I just got a taste of the traveling,
experience.
and I came back and I really couldn't settle.
Okay.
And I did my second year, and then I was like, no, I just don't think it's going to be for me. And I didn't want to kind of just change horses at that stage, because I was like, that's going to be another 4 years onto maybe something that might work out.
Yeah.
So I jacked it in, and I went and got a job in a deli, like working like every hour under the sun, because we lived up here. We lived down on Barrack Street actually. That's where our house was during college. And I was
How
working.
did your parents take the news when you were?
Actually, really well. Like I didn't tell them for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I had jacked
Were you
it
just
in.
afraid to tell them?
I think so, because I'm.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks a million.
William.
They're so lovely. So I was like, I'm the eldest. I'm really conscious of saying like an awful lot. That's such a Cork thing. It's a like.
It's endearing though. I do the same. I don't even realise we say.
I know. So told them, and by the time I told them, I decided I was going to leave the country. So, you know, in true melodramatic fashion, you know, it's not working out, so I'm just going to
There's
jump
worse
ship.
news, yeah.
Yeah. So I booked flights, and at the time I was going out with a guy who has since become my husband, and I said to him, I'm going, you can either come or you can stay, it's totally up to you. And he came with me, and we went to Edinburgh, and the intention was to travel, but we kind of got jobs there and started having a great social life and all of that. So
And did what you're meant to do at that age.
yeah, and just had a ball, no responsibilities.
Brilliant.
And spent 2 years there.
And did you just part-time work when you were over there? And
I worked for John Lewis actually, and I suppose that was my first step into
Fashion
retail
and
and everything. And they're a really interesting company to work for because they're a partnership. So the company is essentially owned by everyone who works there. You all have shares. So it's a big thing on, I think, the BBC News every year. They announce what the percentage profits were for John Lewis, because that is essentially a bonus then that you receive. And everyone, from the person who works in dispatch to the GM to the person who's in the post room, like everyone gets a percentage, and it's really, really good. So, but yeah, no, it was a lovely, lovely company to work for, and had a ball, like literally had a ball.
So you lived in Edinburgh, and then you came back to Cork.
Back to work, yeah. We got engaged when we got over there, which, like,
You were young enough,
was
were you?
really young. I was 22,
Wow.
and we came back, so I was 22 and I turned 23 in the May, and we came back in April.
Okay.
So by 23 I was engaged and had a mortgage.
What?
And friends of ours thought we were insane.
But that was kind of the norm back then, actually, because I'm thinking, like, I would have been in a long-term relationship and we had bought a house. I was only 22, but that was the done thing. I think in the boom, it was just kind of the way it was.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
you know, and I think we were pretty set. I mean, I'd been with him since I was 17 at that stage.
And when you know, you know.
When you know, you know. And the running joke is that he only proposed to get me home because I was I was not coming back from Edinburgh at all.
Okay.
I was like, this is a great life and I'm going to stay here forever and just have a great social life. And so literally within 2 weeks we were home, had a mortgage, as I said, bought a house, both started new jobs.
And did you look for a retail job at that stage?
Yeah, like I had fully intended on coming back. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna finish my degree and do a master's. Let's just do that now and just have it done. But I was conscious that I obviously did want to work as well, you know, to finance that, so that my parents wouldn't have to once again bear the brunt of it, and that I was going to flake out in it. So I applied for a job in Brown Thomas. There was a wedding list. I don't know if you remember the wedding list that was in.
That was on a specific floor.
Yeah, it was on the homewares floor at the back, and it was a really nice department. And I applied for a part-time job there, which ended up being a full-time position.
Okay.
And then I kind of got used to earning money, and then 2 months into it, my manager, who was just the nicest guy ever at the time, put me forward for this graduate program that the company had started, which then resulted in like about a 3-month audition period. It was like X Factor, like times 10. Like I don't know if I could do it now. It was really, really intense, and they picked a number of candidates who made it through, and there was 10 picked throughout the group, and literally you were thrown into it.
Wow.
So it was sink or swim, and that was their, I suppose, management kind of graduate program, if you will, and just started from there and just kind of kept working my way up.
And how many years did you work at Brown Thomas?
I spent in total, it was coming up to 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you finished in Brown Thomas, what was your role then?
My role at the time, so I think everyone kind of has this perception of it, because it's a beauty. I mean, if you want to work in retail in this country, it's your pinnacle. Absolutely. You know, and you get the contacts and the experience, an amazing company to work for. But the structure, I think people think, and the perception is that we kind of don't do a whole lot in there, that we just, you know, have a great life and everything looks beautiful in there and everyone's just smiling and it's great. And the reality of it is it's very small, close-knit teams. So I would have been one of, at the time, 8 senior managers. Okay. And then we just had a general manager, and that's the structure. So that's it. So that's what runs it and what keeps it turning. And then you have your teams, obviously, who are on the floor. So it's full on. It's, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning you're in there to set up, to greet
and weekends,
probably. Weekends, it's a 7 day a week job. You know, you've no set hours. There's travel involved, but great opportunities. And I mean, I couldn't recommend it for anyone starting out. It is such a great place to work.
And I guess then the transition for you. Becoming a mum. Because I find anyway, like the minute I had Erin, I had been working for an American multinational as a facilities manager, managing the Irish offices and the Nordics. I had, you know, that dream job, an amazing company, amazing package. It was just, I really was where I was finally found somewhere that I was happy to be in. Then all of a sudden I had Erin, and she was super colic, so the childminder would be ringing saying she's getting sick, you're going to have to come and collect her. You know, she just wouldn't settle anywhere, and it got so bad, like we literally couldn't leave her anywhere. And I had to give up work. I just took the decision to give up work. So our lovely lifestyle changed very quickly. And nobody, like school or college, nothing really prepared me for being a stay-at-home mum. And I now, 2.5 years in, really love it and realise now I do have my own business that I can tip away at, and that gets me out and about. But I do realise it's my most important job ever. But it was a shock to the system.
So
for you, having kids?
Absolutely, holy crap, nothing prepares you. You can read all of the books, you can be, and I mean, I got really lucky, my kids are eaters and sleepers, and I think once you have a sleeper, I think you can somewhat
cope and function.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
you know, plus I went back to work full time after both of my kids, so I was still in there and not quite sure, so it kind of came to a head where we had to make the decision re childcare, because my husband's job was very full on as well, hours wise, so it was either we couldn't meet, and I think this is a big problem in this country in particular, we couldn't get childcare to work around our hours. A lot of childcare facilities, you know, they close at 6.
That's right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the earliest I could be home would be maybe 7 o'clock. My husband, it could be 11.
Yeah.
We were toying about with the idea of an au pair, and I suppose I was at a crossroads in what I wanted to do, and like, okay, this was a short-term solution, but was it going to be a long-term one for us? And I suppose that's what we looked at. So the decision was made that my husband
was carrot cake getting in the way there?
Sorry. So I'm still chewing. So we made the decision that my husband would become the stay-at-home parent. And this was to be for a period of 1 year.
Trial period.
We were locking it down for 1 year, and then I was going to take my turn at it. So he was going to work on the days I was off, and then he would work from home as well. So kind of like a situation with you and your husband. So exactly. So 4 months in, and they broke him. They absolutely broke him. He couldn't. I remember clearly the day that I came home and just was like, I just can't do it anymore. And I know that might come across as really sexist. He was like, I just can't do it anymore. And it's only then when it became my turn that I realised
this is not easy.
This is not easy.
It is a job.
It is a job, and you feel really guilty because you had these kids, and I sound like I'm like really downing my children, but it's a total shock to the system. I remember potty training, like I thought I was never going to like come out of the end of that tunnel through the power of vodka and endless supplies of towels. I will never ever forget it, and I was like, how is this difficult? I managed a career, I managed to go through school and college somewhat, and I've tried, like, how can I just not get this tiny person to function in a way?
Because nobody really prepares you, and I can completely relate to what you're saying, because I do find obviously being a parent now is my most important role, the most important job I've ever had, and we really only have them for a few years. They go to school, we're not cool anymore, they don't want to talk to us, so I am trying to embrace it all, and I do love it, but I do find like little things like I definitely was not prepared for it. And also, like, both my grandparents would have had, both my nanas had close on 10 children each.
Wow.
And that's the thought that gets me when I go for the glass of wine in the evening. I'm like, no, look, my nana did this 10 times. I'm okay. I can get through today. I have one. Get over yourself. Like, but it's just, we didn't, like, I suppose we have businesses, we still have to work, and then you have to keep a house as well. So
it's different stresses, and I do think it is a very generational thing. Like I always say that my mother is such a maternal person, and probably should have been the person to have 10 kids, but as well. But you know, I would have been the opposite in a way. Like if you had asked me maybe 10 years ago, did I want to have a family? It really wasn't.
It kind of scared me, to be honest. But I think it was bred into us in school. We're so lucky now to have this opportunity to get a career, to get college education, and we were. But somewhere along the way then, I think we kind of missed the disconnect of, I'm going to just complete the circle now, have the babies, have the family. Hang on a minute, I can't have my career, or I'm unable just for this little period to juggle everything. Okay, so how do I prioritise?
And I think as well particularly my mum was a stay-at-home mum as well, but she went out to work then when I think my brother was in junior cert, and she is still working to this day because she loved being at home, but I never foresaw that for myself. So I think that's why then it was it was a total shock, and my postman became my therapist to this day, hands down. I think now he's at the stage where he just wants to shove the stuff in the letterbox and run. But yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from, is that it's just,
So was it when you were at home with the babas?
Yes.
Is that when you found Instagram? Because it's still relatively a new new social media platform.
Yeah, like I suppose when I worked full time, social media that was available or that was being used, let's say, was Bebo, right? I mean, I don't know anyone. Bebo babes, Bebo stunners. Facebook was only just coming about, and from a business point of view, no one knew what really to do with it or how to harness it. So it was very much let's not touch it.
Okay.
So I suppose then you kind of use it as a tool of okay, we're in work on a Saturday, and then you have someone ringing in to go, oh yeah, I've got the flu or something, and then on Bebo we can see you had an entire night out, and we didn't know what to do. It was that whole grey area. Now there is obviously regulations around it, which is great. So it wasn't really encouraged then from a personal point of view that you would have any form of social media. So I never
didn't have them.
No, I mean, I still don't have a Facebook profile. Probably never will. I never liked it as a platform. So, but when I became a stay-at-home parent, I was the first out of my friends to have kids. I didn't know anyone else who had children or what to do, and I didn't know where I wanted to go or meet people or how to even do it. So I just decided to set up an Instagram profile, and this is now coming up to about 3.5 years ago now.
Okay.
And I met some amazing people on it, and
like
it was
the amount of mums I've met from Dreaming Always, going to mum meetings,
exactly,
all over the country actually. All the women you connect with.
It's like Tinder for mothers.
It is.
Like, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's just so great.
And then Insta stories came along, and I think that for you was the game changer.
Absolutely. And
Knock.
Knock. I feel like Knock is going to be for me what Buffy Vampire Slayer was for Sarah Michelle Gellar. I feel that might be it, and that might be my pinnacle. But yeah, no. So I just kind of pottered along, and I never wanted to play. I suppose from my point of view on Instagram, I'm not a business, so I don't feel pressured to play the game on Instagram.
No, you can be yourself.
I can be myself. I don't have to hashtag. I don't have to. It's very much. I always say it's like my messy drawer at home. It's like my diary in a way. So I can just put whatever I want, and that's it. So I don't have that pressure of having to promote it or myself, etc. But Insta Stories, it came on board on. It was a weekend. I think it launched. It was like a Friday or something.
Okay.
Random, and my mother, who
can we just say it? Your mum, we only know her as Met Erin.
Met Erin, who obviously has an over fondness and obsession with the weather, hence her name.
I think a lot of mums do. It's like, there's grand rain today.
Yeah, and I was watching the farmer's forecast and the long range forecast, and there's a bit of a gale, and you better not travel anywhere. And that's always the phone call. But she was going to Knock with my aunt, and my mum is not a frequenter of mass, let's say.
Okay.
But she makes these promises to herself that, let's say I'm pregnant, or I'm not now, obviously, but if and when I am, or if everything's okay with the baby, I'll go and walk a hill barefoot.
Okay.
And then when everything is okay, she holds fast to those promises. So this Knock thing, I can't remember why she was going. I'm not too sure again, but my aunt dropped out, and my mother, I was like, I just can't leave her go on her own. So
you're the best daughter.
She was like, you have to go as well. So I didn't realise at the time. I thought it was just we'd go to Knock and that was it. She'd
say a few prayers,
rub a few grottos,
wait in the background,
sing a few holy hymn, whatever they do up there, and that was the end of it. But no, I was told there would be a bus pick us up, and the bus was booked out. So it was myself and 59 other people from the local village with, I'd say, an average age of about maybe 67.
Fantastic.
So I got on the bus, slightly hungover, because my mum had made us stay up until 2 in the morning watching Brooklyn, the film. She hadn't watched it.
Okay.
And of course there was a bottle of wine opened. Met Erin's fondness of wine is parallel to her fondness of the weather. Okay. So we had that, and we got on the bus, and I was totally flabbergasted. There were priests on the bus. We took off, and I had sunglasses on, so I was thrown over. And next thing, my mum said, "Oh, you take out your rosary beads.
Take out your
rosary beads. I was like, sorry, they're in my other bag.
It's my communion day.
Yeah, you know, obviously prized possession. Sounds awful at the time. But so they prayed, and when they weren't praying, there was a CD that was on of Dana singing hymns, basically. It was like Father Ted on speed. You couldn't make it up. It was just, and this was the bus journey. This is only the bus journey. So I decided with Insta Stories, and you know with Insta Stories, it's like 10 seconds of footage that disappears after 24 hours. So I think I filmed in total about 3 minutes of footage throughout the day, and I'm always very careful not to say, incriminate is the wrong word, but you know, film anyone else other than me, or put them in a situation. I just think there's a line, and I try and approach it online as I do in real life, so I don't want to compromise anyone. So it was just basically my view of Knock, and I think Father Joe became a sensation out of it due to his karaoke moment on the bus outside Charleville. He found a microphone and there was a whole sing-song, and it was probably
one of the most entertaining things I've seen in so long. I hadn't really come across your page before then, and it was Emer and Barry over in London had put up something saying that she was drinking her tears and go check out the coverage from Knock with Manolo Mommy, and I just remember going on going, this is genius, like this is, I feel like I'm on the trip with you, and I hadn't really engaged with Insta Stories at the time.
Yeah, I think no one had really.
No, and it was, for me, I was, you know, to me Instagram was curated perfect pictures of a perfect life,
beautiful, aesthetic,
aspirational,
yes.
And this was my first experience of, oh look, some people are actually showing the real thing, no filter, and this is actually genius. But so then from that, was it not long after a production company reached out to you?
Yeah, so basically I came home, and since I suppose my work days, I'm very I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I love it, but on my own time. So I don't have any notifications set up or anything. So I physically have to go in to every app or anything to check. So I came home, we got home I think at 11 o'clock from Knock. The bus dropped us off outside my parents' house, and I had to drive home. I was so traumatized from the whole thing. I got in the door, and my husband will swear over this, I nicked an entire bottle of Prosecco. I was like, this is the only thing that's going to cause me to pass out and eradicate.
Get over this.
Exactly, get over it. So I woke up the next morning and just opened Instagram, and there was like 800 new followers, and you know, then the Prosecco fear starts, and you're like, what have I done? What did I say? And you know, did I say something untoward? So I didn't know what was going on, and then like there were lots of DMs, and I kind of started going through it, and then Emer Barry had mentioned it, and I think her.ie, there was people tweeting about it, and it just went a bit doolally. And so I was going through all the DMs, and you know, everyone was lovely about it. They were like, oh, this is gas, you know, whatever. And so there was all these DMs and just saying lovely, really nice things. And I think that's been a really positive thing for me in social media, because you hear a lot of people who have negative experiences.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have never.
I don't think Instagram is a place for that.
Yeah,
though.
it's more community.
And women support women on it.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's as much trolling, depending on what you're willing to put out there about yourself.
Yes, you know, and like as I said, any experience I've had has just been so nice. And this one DM that was amongst them was from a lady called Debbie, and she introduced herself and said, I'm a TV producer and I'd like to have a chat. And I suppose I'm very cynical as a person anyway, so immediately I thought, oh, this is just, you know, flash in the pan or whatever. So she said, look, here's my info and have a look, and you know, if you want to have a chat, if you give me your number and I'll give you a call sometime. So had a look at everything and her info, and I was like, oh god, she's legit. And the irony of it was that she works for the company that produced the film Brooklyn that Met Aaron had made us watch the night before we went to Knock. Met Aaron takes great pleasure in this. Met Aaron thinks now this is all her doing. So
it was the prayers.
The infinite rosaries. So so I gave her my number, and I was standing with my husband, and I said, look, I've given the number, look, I might not hear anything, and the phone rang 10 minutes later, and she had spoken to her boss, and they asked me to submit something, and she knows this now, but she didn't then. My laptop, because obviously I've given it back from when I finished work, so we had an ancient one that we used to have, and the kids had just buggered it.
Right.
So she was like, can you submit something to us, just a bit of writing that we can have an idea. So I typed it all on my phone.
Wow.
And sent it, and thinking that would be the end of it, and they came back and said,
how long did that take you to do?
Oh, I think I did it. No, and this is, I suppose this has been the biggest learning curve for me. It's very much kind of carte blanche.
Okay, wow. That's actually harder than being given a topic.
You get support. They're so absolutely so lovely, but it really is, I suppose, up to you to generate the content for them.
Brilliant, okay.
And so I think it took me an hour. I just banged it out, and they came back and said, well, now we know you can obviously write, and will you do more?
Wow.
So I wrote a little bit more, thinking then again that would be the end, and they came back and asked me to just sign a legal agreement with them to protect what we were doing, and I suppose themselves as well. So it was great that this was, you know, there was something kind of concrete. Yeah. So it was agreed. I had a meeting with them in Dublin, and it was kind of agreed a deadline that I would submit something in the new year. So just January of this year.
Okay.
So about 2 weeks before Christmas, I still hadn't bought a laptop. So I'm still doing all of this on my phone. Like, I'm just a disaster zone. And
but where there's a will, there's a way. We will make it happen.
Exactly. So about 2 weeks before Christmas, they emailed again, and it was constant contact. And a lot of this, obviously, with anything now is you know, either, you know, over the phone or email. That's how it's kind of done. And they asked could they have it before Christmas, and I am just a bit stupid, and I say things, and I'm like, absolutely no problem. And then afterwards realised, no, it's not going to happen because I need to go. So I went and bought the laptop, and I said, look, can I send it to you in the new year? So I gave myself 4 days, and I had to write a pilot for them for a TV show, which I think it was about 35 pages.
How do you discipline yourself with children at home? Well, both your children now are in school.
They're in school now, yeah, full time.
So you had the morning window to kind of batten down the hatches and really focus on it.
Exactly. Like they start school at like 10 to 9, so I find as well that I can't work to generate content in the evening. Okay. My brain doesn't work for some reason. I can answer, you know, 100 emails for you. I could do all of that, no problem. But I just
to be creative.
Exactly.
When you get up.
Exactly.
When your brain is waking up.
Yeah, I find it better in the morning. I know other people are different, other people are night owls, but
and it's probably about that, finding your little, you know, what works for you best.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because my daughter finishes at 1:30, so I just have that window before, and once I pick her up, and then my son finishes at 2:30. So from there you're into
well, it's not about you anymore.
No, it's not. It's like feed me, and can I have this friend over, and I need to do my homework, and I forgot this that I'm hurling, or they've all so much stuff going on. So I did it in 4 days, and I literally went to a coffee shop and sat there. From my husband was actually at home, and that's the time frame I did it in, because I felt if they were going to come back and say, look,
you need like more, or
you need to re-edit or whatever. So I sent it, and it went in, let's say, on a Monday, and I got an out of office from the producer who I deal with, and Stacey wasn't there, and I was like, oh, that's great, that's an extra week now. And then I got an email that night to say it was gone straight to the UK.
Amazing, wow.
So I was a bit,
and it's such a new patch, like it's something I wouldn't know how, what comes of it, and where does it go?
Yeah, and it's very, if you don't, I suppose, know, it can be quite, like when you're in it and you haven't had experience of it, it can be quite disconcerting, because the tendency is when you do submit work to them, they don't talk to you until they want to talk to you, and that's not because they're not lovely people. That's the nature of the business. So only up to last week did I get confirmation back from them, and there's still no I suppose feedback from the UK side, because they're actually producing 3 movies at the minute, and they're going into production with another 2. So like those projects, like I'm so far down the food chain, I'm compost, and I'm under no illusion. I'm under no illusion
But
with that.
you're on the ladder. I mean, to go from the career that you were working in retail to becoming a mum, which I now know is like this limbo period of what am I doing with my life exactly? But now, like just from Instagram, from sharing, being honest on Instagram, and super funny to be fair, you have like this production company got in touch with you through Insta stories, and now you've been submitting a pilot. I mean, can you even? Do you have a pinch me moment around that?
No, not at all. I don't. I would say I would hope I would never suffer from a case of notions, as we call them.
Well, we're Irish, so that's not gonna
happen. There'll always be something. Emer will bring me back down to the level I'm accustomed to. But no, I mean, I suppose I struggled a while with it, and I tend to self-sabotage myself, I suppose, in a way, and.
Most
to be
creators do anyway.
To be given that opportunity, and then it's very hard to stay in your own lane. And I remember having this conversation with Anne-Marie O'Connor, who I met at the Cork Fashion Week, like the nicest woman ever, and we had this conversation about staying in your own lane, and I said that's what I struggle with, because to me there's always someone who I feel is more deserving of an opportunity or is more talented, and there's such a wealth out there.
But I think as women, do we maybe look at other people and try and almost
emulate,
or kind of say, she's so amazing, and you're nearly putting yourself down. Whereas I find any American friends, they're like, you go girl, and
absolutely, it's all very out there, and so it's. I suppose I suffered from, I suppose, a lack of confidence in the fact that this all came about from something that was basically nearly a YouTube moment, and a bit flash in the pan, and was it,
But that's, I think, like from my own business side, I look for people online because I can see that, especially with Facebook, it might be my favourite platform. I do prefer Instagram, but with Facebook you see what someone's up to, at the weekend, whatever. If I'm going to hire somebody, I'm going to check to make sure they're not out on the absolute piss every weekend. And so you do get to kind of see the real side of people, and I think maybe in certain industries that has to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
So, I know plenty of people who've come out of college but may not have interpersonal skills.
It's so true, it's and I know we had this discussion before, but it almost now does become your CV, your social media, your platforms, and how you interact, and who do you interact with, and or do you interact at all? There are some people who are still completely off the grid, and
which is really cool at this stage.
I mean, like one of my friends, her younger sister, I keep calling her little sister, and it's not, she's a younger sister. She is on her 3rd novel at this stage. Incredibly talented. So then you're looking at that, that raw talent, and then I'm trying to quantify it with,
but you can't compare.
Is mine valid? But I think that's like a human nature thing to do.
It is, and you can't compare because you wouldn't still be doing it. And also, so you're going to be published this weekend in a national broadsheet.
That's a bit random now as well.
But it's not random. It's not. It's happening because without even trying, you are very good at curating content, and I think like I love to click on in the evenings, or if I get up in the morning and I have a little window and I want to catch up and see what the girls are up to, I'll always click on your page, because I just feel like, we're all
my daughter feels that way. In a couple of years, I wish she's just going to hang me out.
She's
now.
so brilliant. The two of them are so cute on your page.
But no, it is like
a broadsheet, a national broadsheet.
Yeah, it's that, and as I said, that only happened 2 weeks ago. And again, like I don't think I'll ever be able to say that I did this on my own. And I know you have people out there who go, oh, I did this all on my own, and I've no one to help me. Everything that has happened in the chain of events has been because of someone who I had met and talked to, and who was giving me an opportunity. So I went from a meetup for the Dreaming Always ladies to meeting you and Viv, to you and Viv giving me the opportunity to do Cork Fashion Week, to meeting Anne-Marie, to going to her book launch and getting to know her, to who was obviously the fashion editor for the Examiner, to her just having a casual conversation with her editor, which resulted then in a phone call.
So all of a sudden you're writing for a national broadsheet.
Yeah, so it's going in on this Saturday into the weekend supplement. So Vicky May, who's the features editor, gave me a call and I had a deadline of maybe about 24 hours.
Okay.
And it was just a small
which you can knock that.
Yeah, I
now
think
you're used to
it's
it.
different to, I suppose, having to think of like characters and storylines. This is just like talking, so it's very similar to my Instagram feed in a way.
Okay.
So
it comes naturally to you.
yeah, it's just like talking between the two of us.
Yeah.
So so that's going in on this Saturday, and I have to submit more pieces for the production company next week.
Wow.
So hopefully
You're now a busy writer.
hopefully, like, I don't think I'd ever be able to say that until there's something concrete.
I know.
And but I've only given myself this year, and that was my big thing. So if I can't make it happen this year, I have to go back to.
But you didn't set out to do this.
No, not at all. Not
Which
at all.
is what I love, and it's like something that just comes naturally to you. It's like an extension of what you were doing on Instagram, but it's just on paper now.
Exactly. So
Amazing.
we'll reserve judgment until it comes out on Saturday. I'm very conscious that it'll be chip wrapper paper come Sunday.
No.
So that.
And there's a whole community of us on Instagram are really excited to see it.
It's great. Everyone's been messaging, and it's so lovely. Like I've just had so much support from everyone and met some great people. So I could never ever say that I did this on my own. Absolutely not. Hopefully it'll keep going now, and so I'm meeting the examiner then after that, and we're going to have a sit down and just see if there is potential. There might not be. I'm very not afraid to hear the word no.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with age as well.
You're open to trying everything.
Exactly.
As well.
So if you just get a no, you just go on to the next one, and that's how you keep going.
Well, we wish you the absolute best of
Thanks a
luck with
million.
it. It's just so exciting. So after all is said and done, what do you want to be when you grow up? You said you're going to give this writing, these opportunities a year. What do you want to be when you're big?
Oh God, I don't think I'll ever grow up, Emer.
I
think that's the crux of it all. I think my biggest thing is that I'm learning to say yes to everything.
Yes.
And
take every
that's
opportunity.
It. Yeah, and I'm starting another project with two other friends, which is a new parenting thing that we're hoping to really get up. It's early days yet. It's called Parentially, and it's
and you guys have an Instagram.
We have an Instagram page, and so we're just starting now, and it's myself and a girl called Orla and Joe.
I was in school with Orla actually. She's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like 6 degrees separation. So we've that kind of started, and it's just tipping away and kind of keeping your head above the water.
I know that, and keeping busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, best of luck with it all,
Thanks a
and we
million.
can't wait to read your article with the Irish Examiner on Saturday. Thanks for joining me for cake.
No, and thanks a million. Cake was awesome.
We should have taken the Insta pictures maybe
I know,
before.
probably before. That's my stumbling block. I never food pictures because I've always eaten it before I do.
My eyes are bigger than my belly too. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks a million. Thanks.